Hello everyone out there in YouTube land, whenever and wherever you're watching. So today is, I guess, pull list Friday, or you know, I'll be showing the books that I got this week, which were pretty good books, by the way, excellent reads. I also got from my comicshop.com a book. It came in the mail on Wednesday, and I've been waiting for this book for a while. I originally owned this book 20 years ago. Got lost between I guess 94 and 99 when kind of find some of my early books, the early books that I bought here and there. So without further ado, let's start with the books. First up, Action Comics number 25. As you can see, it's a 0-year tie-in. This also marks the beginning for the Greg Pak and Aaron Cutter run. Um, I really like this book. Uh, I like the story, but I was kind of disappointed that I like Lana Lang, but when it was teased that a character from Superman's past was coming back or making her first appearance, well, Lana actually showed up, early in the Grant Morrison run. So I expect actually Lori Lamaris. I love that character, the mermaid. But I'm fine with Lana, though. Um, I actually enjoyed the story and everything, but I didn't really, you know, like the opening page because it kind of seems like it's a disconnect between what's been shown before and and here because you know the first page actually kind of shows that Lana is leaving Smallville. I think even before Clark does, but that not exactly how it was shown before. In fact, Lana and Pete Ross were uh, actually uh, saying goodbye to Clark, who was actually leaving Smallville. So I don't know how you know that'll continually be there, kind of bother me a bit. That and the fact that Lana is working for an oil company. It actually just made me think that yeah, part of it it's kind of plot driven. The fact that the first story arc actually involves people from the netherworld, subterranean people or creatures showing up, and the last page in the backup actually shows that. It just seems like very, I don't know. Okay, you got the oil drilling company. They actually, you know, disturb some creatures that live below the earth. Actually, remind me a bit of a plot from the Jetsons movie from back in 1990. Yes, I am referencing an animated movie from years ago that's actually very obscure, I guess. And they just kind of throw Lana in it so that they could have an excuse to bring him to Clark and Lana, or Clark, Superman meeting, encountering his old high school flame again. But I still enjoy the issue. The art's great. I think a lot of reviewers out there in the internet have actually mentioned this particular page. Where is it? Like this page, uh, where I mean, very creative use of the panels. Very creative use of the shield. You know, and I was also glad that 40 pages and you actually get a backup. I kind of miss those backups in Action Comics, but I enjoyed it. Um, I mean, Superman, and you know, I think Pack has a great handle on the character. Next up, Superman Unchained number 4. This one came late. This was supposed to ship last week, but it shipped this week. Um, uh, this kind of felt a bit like filler. Kind of like it set things up, but nothing really happened. Just more mysteries are thrown in. And you know the way Luthor is written, I'm getting tired of Lex Luthor. Actually, he's my least favorite Superman villain. Here he's like the typical mustache twirling guy. Very arrogant. Trying to show he's the smartest guy in the room. So just getting tired of Luthor. You know, I really don't like him anymore as a villain. Just he seems too, I don't know, stereotypical, I guess. There's some stuff going on with Superman and Red. Then there's the Lois Lane portion, which I think that was the most interesting part of the book, and the backup kind of sets things up for more mystery. This Ascension terrorist group and their connection to General Lane. Um, it was an okay issue, I guess. I mean, I love Superman, but eh. Next up, Green Lantern number 25. Um, this one picks up exactly after the last page of last week's annual. Uh, for the most part, this actually does feel like a very nice standalone issue, I guess. I mean, it does continue for you know next issue, but you actually do get a full adventure. You actually get caught up on what happened during the Lights Out uh, um, crossover and the conclusion, and it just picks up from there. It almost feels like Vendetti, wrote, the last page of the annual and the first page, and the rest of the issues, kind of one after the other. If you know, uh, I'm really enjoying where they're going with the new status quo plus a subplot pre-lights out, sort of like in the build up to lights out. It's being handled again, so very fun book. Another 0 year tie-in, uh Green Arrow number 25. I i actually enjoyed the these flashbacks issues, by the way, because it actually adds a bit more context to last issue's reveal of Deagle, John Deagle showing up in the last issue, and his connection to Green Arrow and Queen Industries, and Oliver Queen. The art, of course, by Andrea Sorrentino. I mean, excellent art as always. Uh, the fight between Green Arrow and the villain, and Batman and the villain. I mean, just look at this page with Batman on it. I mean, this is some badass looking art, and the whole fight sequence in it's absolutely awesome. I mean, look at the sort of like his debut. Um, it actually reintroduces or introduces us to another Arrow character. This time, Moira Queen, Oliver's mother, also called, different from the TV show, obviously. And had a really great backup as well. showing what happened to Deagle after them after the lead story, a few weeks after the lead story took place. I mean, Dennis Cowan doing the art, with Bill, you know, uh, so, same, you know, can pronounce his name. It's a neck, neck week, so why not how you pronounce it. So that was actually a very nice surprise. For this book, I did not expect that. Has It adds a really good, nice background to Deagle. Um, and I'm sure that even if there was no 0 year time, I'm pretty sure Lemire would actually be doing a flashback issue just to get us into that background of the Eagle in the main DC universe. Um, you know, and yeah, and I forgot what I was gonna say. Showing the background, and I think Zero Year was a good excuse, to add to that. But even without the 0 year tie, he would have eventually done it, or would actually be doing it, give it that background. Finally, Forever Evil number 3. Um, this one was a much better issue, I think. I didn't really like issue 2, just seemed a little too, I guess, sort of disconnect, sort of like little bits and pieces. Same thing with the Justice League 24 time, which I did not really enjoy as much as most have. Just felt like, just focusing a bit on the villains, but you don't really get, I don't know, progress in the story. This one's, like I said, much better. We actually found out what happened to the Justice Leagues and how Batman, Catwoman, and Cyborg escaped. Uh, we get basically Luthor starting to form, I guess, his counter group to the secret society and the syndicate, the crime syndicate. Obviously the rogues would obviously join Luthor because they know Luthor wouldn't agree with the syndicate. Of course, Black Manta as well, because they took the one thing that motivated him, which was he was going to kill Aquaman. So this little group is forming um, to counter the syndicate. Uh, and Geoff Johns took the opportunity to kind of um, bring the rogues back to basics. If you've been reading Flash, you know that the rogues, uh, between their first appearance, like within the 5 year lapse of time, they actually became, their powers became part of them. They were like, genetically modified. So that's some kind of takes that away. So they bring them back to the street level, I guess, villains that they were before. Captain Gold had the idea of, you know, merging the rogues' powers and giving them superpowers. So really great issue, and Bizarro is like, you know, I don't. This isn't the funny haha Bizarro we're all used to, you know, but um, still very very interesting uh, take on the character. Still sort of like a mindless monster. So it's more like, as Luthor expresses it, and I'll take a look at this quickly. Um, let me see, where was it? Not here. Mm, 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 mm. Where is it? I just love it. When he said, oh, here we go. The world's most powerful mind stuck with the world's most undercooked, clone. You know, I have picked Superman clone, which I thought was funny. So, for a real number of 3. And finally, we got this book from 1993, Flash 79, sorry. Now, I already bought this book, 20 years ago. It got lost somewhere. And for the longest time, I couldn't remember which issue it was. At one point, I thought it was issue number 80. I bought number 80, but it wasn't issue 80. I mean, I remembered a few things from the story, so I knew issue number 80 wasn't the one. I remember there was a lot of recapping, so a recap of the various issues of what had happened before. So I finally said, well, I'm going to check out 79. So I went up in the internet. I saw a synopsis of the story and said, that's the story. I wasn't 100% sure. It was like 99.9999% sure it was the issue, just because of what I remember from the story I read. So I remembered a few things. Give me a sec. A little dark here because it's kind of cloudy. Okay. Okay. So I was like 99.999% that this issue was based on the on the description. So after looking at a few, so I got it, I bought it, I opened it, and I remember basically this panel here. And with that, I knew it was the issue I had bought. So I'm so happy I have this once again with me. And before we go, let's go with the ratings. So my top read for this week was Green Arrow number 25, followed closely by Action. Then we have also pretty much tied together, would be Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and Forever Evil. And my least favorite, I guess, issue is Superman Unchained number 4. So that's it for this week. I'll be seeing you in the weekend with another episode of Comics and Beyond. Until then, keep smiling and don't worry about the darn YouTube thing.